Welcome, it's me, Tony DADA, your soul purpose coach. Just wanting to bring you another video blog with my young protege. It's an opportunity where we have the chance to talk about my recent blog and we just break it down because he says that sometimes when I write these blogs, there are gems hidden within it that need to be unpicked. So we're going to do that just right about now. Young Natty, are you there? Are you in the house?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so as usual, let's just get straight to it. So the blog that I wrote this month was around the subject of the student and the teacher, meaning that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Yeah.
And I wrote that because what I found oftentimes is that people are looking for things and they're wanting things, they're wanting to learn stuff, but they're not ready to be the student. So, I mean, you read it? Any gems that you want to share or any questions that you want to ask just so that we can chop it up and bring some wisdom and some game, hopefully, to people who are tuning
I feel like the most important part for me or the blog was when you spoke about when you were in the barber's chair and you gave him a test of his thinking system because he wanted some information that cost quite a bit of money if about investments.
Yeah, so just to put it into context so people understand where we're coming from. So I was in the barber shop just the other day and I was in the chair and the young man was cutting my hair and talking about the fact that he wanted to learn about business, he wanted to learn about money and the making of money. And so I introduced the whole concept of a coach because a coach is a way that you can access that kind of knowledge. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I'd like that. So how do you find a coach?" And I'm like, well, there's a coach sitting right here in your chair that can do that. But I charge like £400 an hour. So I was like, well, I'll cut you a deal. You can either cut my hair and I'll give you the game for free. Like, so I don't pay you and I'll give you the knowledge, or I'll give you the money and I don't give you the knowledge. You choose. And so that's the story that you're talking about. So back
Yeah.
over to you.
Yeah. And it stood out to me a lot because it's a thing of where because he was contemplating, you could already tell that his thinking system was not all the way positive because he's just thinking, I don't know this, I might not know this guy. What is he really gonna tell me? Because he's thinking about it from his understanding.
Oh, it's worse than that. So he's not my regular barber.
Okay.
So, but he's in the shop and he has cut my hair in the past. So that means that he knows what I'm about. He knows my game. He knows what I do, what I'm into through the conversations that we've had every time I go there, but I'm in the other chair. So he now has an opportunity, and it's an opportunity that doesn't come around regularly or every day because it might be 6 months before a situation comes around where I'm in his chair because I only go to his chair when my guy doesn't have time. So he had a golden opportunity.
Yeah. So it's more of I remember reading somewhere else because all these thoughts were just going through my brain. I'm reading somewhere else that said you need to move at the speed of opportunity.
Right.
But how can you move at the speed of opportunity if you can't recognize it?
And there you go. And so for me, it was the double play because, as you know, for 20 years, I've been investing in people up and down the country in the UK, only to come to realize that a bunch of those people, a significant amount of those people, weren't ready to receive the information that I was bringing them. So I don't want to be doing that again. So for me, before I spit game, I need to know, is the student ready? Because if the student is not ready, if they don't value what I'm saying, if they don't appreciate me and what I can bring to them, then I'm wasting my time. And what's the point?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was why I put that to him, because we both then get the opportunity to see, are you ready for this? No point me spitting game if you're not ready.
I mean, I would. I would give up the £15 for some game for an hour of game. Yes, £15 for an hour of someone's time, so they
Well,
can show me.
he's not even thinking about the money side of things, because if he was a businessman, then he would be like, hold on, this guy's giving me an opportunity to leverage my £15 26 times. That's business.
And what you could gain from that meeting.
Why wouldn't you take that?
Because the thing is, even if let's say you didn't really know what you're talking about, just for argument's sake, even if he had taken that opportunity, he should have been able to ask questions, because now he needs to think about, I need to at least make my £15 back.
Right.
So
But
what can you tell me to make my £15 back?
right. And then if he tells me something that is worth my £15, then anything above that is profit.
Pure profit.
So what that told me was that, and we spoke about it afterwards, is that there's what I refer to as prosperity thinking, poverty thinking, or stinking thinking. And you need to know which one you have. And of course, it's a difficult one, because it's not something, the way we think, you can't see it. You know, if you had bad breath, or if you have BO, we can tell your body stinks, like do something about it. But if you've got thinking, if your thinking is stinking, nobody might know. You won't even know. So how do we create a situation that allows you to be real and check the quality of your thinking? And that was it right there. So at the end of the exercise, I gave him the £15, and then I was able to show him that that was not prosperous thinking right there that went on. I'm not going to say it was stinking thinking or poverty thinking, but it certainly wasn't prosperous thinking. And now I've been able to prove it. So the lesson that you've learned from this exercise is your thinking ain't where it needs to be.
Yeah. Even reading that as well, it kind of jolted me to be like, are there any opportunities that you've missed as of recent that you might have not have known about?
Well, there's one way to know, and there's one way to reduce the amount of missing of opportunities. As you know, I'm always an advocate of saying, ask lots of questions. Whenever you're in an opportunity, wherever you're in a situation, if you don't understand something, ask questions, because it's the asking of the questions that will bring clarity and ensure that you don't miss stuff. But how many people do that? And I say that with the best intentions, because many of us are conditioned as a result of the school, college, and teaching that we've gone through, which has really been about labeling us to not ask questions. You know, when you're in school, primary school, even from primary school, you know, you put your hand up, or you want to, you know, in excitement, you want to answer the question, and then you get chastised or slapped down. No, don't speak, or don't inquire. And what you don't realize is that becomes part of your thinking system, that asking questions is something that I'm not to do.
Yeah.
So, because I pointed out to the guy, and I actually brought you up, I was like, let me show you why what you did was not prosperity thinking. I'm like, I gave you a deal. You didn't even try to negotiate. What was that about? Like, you didn't even think to negotiate. I'm like, listen, you're 33. My 17-year-old protege, when he came and he put a deal in front of me and I said no, he negotiated until I had to, he gave me a deal that I couldn't say no to. What were you doing? And he was like, oh, okay, yeah, I feel you. Like, because there's no argument there.
He
I've been
wasn't.
able to show him how he thinks.
The only way I can put it is he wasn't hungry enough. He wasn't willing to learn enough.
Right.
Because when for me to do that at 17, I still can't believe it to this day, and I'm like 25. For me to do that, it's like there is a level of certainty that I want this.
It's not, yeah, it is certainty. Like, I want this, and I'm not going to let it get away from me.
Exactly.
So, but my guy was like, so he applied that same thinking to the 15 pounds. So his focus was on the wrong thing. Like, I'm not going to let that 15-pound get away from me. But my question to him was, how often do you see a coach in front of you that can bring you the game that you're looking for versus when was the last time you saw a 10-pound note or a 20-pound note? And that should tell you which one is the important one to pursue. Because you could see 20, like the next person that's going to sit in your chair is going to show you a 20-pound. You won't see one of these because when I say you won't see one of these, you won't see a coach like me sitting in front of you for how long? It might be a month, it might be 6 months, it might be a year. And you were prepared to take that gamble. Cool. But the moral of the story, and when I left, they were all talking about it, is, I achieved the objective to show not only him, but all of the guys, because now everyone was in on the conversation, that you need to know how you think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That was, yeah. I feel like that's enough for today because I'm still mind blown.
yeah, well, the thing is really down to what we want to show people is that there is abundance everywhere, that there's opportunity everywhere. And in fact, in this new season, this new era that we're living in, I'd go as far as to say that the opportunities and the abundance is so big that it could actually blow your mind. And this is why you want to get a new mindset so that you have the brain width, just like computers. You need to have the bandwidth. You need to be able to have the mind width to be able to see and seize all of these different opportunities, because for example, you only have to look at what's going on in the crypto space that you and I was talking about earlier on. Some of the gains and some of the opportunities that you're seeing, like, you have to kind of sit down for a minute because it's mind blowing. Like, it literally hurts your head. It's hurting your head because it's completely explosive and expansive beyond what is the norm. And that really just goes to describe the time that we are now in. Hence the reason why it's all about the mind and developing the mind. Make sense?
Yep.
Cool. So, was there any other questions or anything else that you wanted to ask regarding that? Or is that pretty much covered everything?
The lesson has been learned.
Okay, cool. So, it's about asking questions, right?
Yes.
It's about
asking questions and ensuring that you don't miss golden opportunities because of your thinking.
Yeah. If he had asked me a question, like if he'd have said to me, if you was in my position, what would you have done? Now, that's game, But he said, I'm like, why are you going quiet? He's like, I'm trying to figure out what to do. But I'm like, hold on a minute. You told me that you're looking for someone that can teach you about business, money, and the making of money. Is that right? He said, yeah. I'm like, because you haven't been able to find someone. Is that right? He said, yeah. And I've told you that there's someone sitting in front of you. Did you hear me? Yeah, I did. And you're trying to figure out what you should do. I
Yeah.
Very interesting. Cool. All right. Well, if the lesson's been learned and the students grasped it, then we're done.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
All
Thanks
right,
a lot.
man. It's all good. And until next month, next time, enough love.